Hello everyone, I'm so happy you're here today. I'm Anna, and as a language teacher, one of the questions I often get is about the differences between Latin American Spanish and European Spanish. Which one should I learn? Which one is better? Is the European Spanish the correct Spanish? Do I need to nail the European pronunciation for my certification test? I know. It's a topic that can feel daunting. But today we're going to break it down, so by the end of this video, you'll have a well-informed opinion on the differences between the two. And if you're left with any question, don't forget to write it down in the comments. Let's get started. First up, accent. One of the most striking differences is how the words are pronounced. Have you ever noticed how Spaniards pronounce Z or C? This is called ceseo, and it dates back to a phonetic shift during the Spanish Golden Age. For instance, the word zapato is pronounced as zapato in Spain, but as zapato in Latin America. Interesting, right? Well, now let's talk about the pronunciation of the letters G and J. In Spain, you'll often hear a harsher, more guttural sound, as in the word jardín, but here in Latin America, it's more of a softer jardín. Did you know? Well, the S is pronounced the same in both varieties. It's the ceseo that sets Spain apart, making it instantly recognizable. Now, let's talk about vosotros. This pronoun is the informal second-person plural used exclusively in Spain. For example, you'll hear something like vosotros sois muy amables. In Latin America, we'll use ustedes. So we'd say ustedes son muy amables. The conjugations change too. Here's a quick comparison. Hablar in the vosotros form would be vosotros habláis, while in Latin America it's ustedes hablan. Another example is comer. Vosotros coméis versus ustedes comen. But this also applies to everyday phrases such as os lo he dicho in Spain versus se los dije in Latin America. And here's a curious fact. The use of vosotros is so unique to Spain that it often feels like a linguistic signature. Moving on to leísmo. This is when le is used as a direct object pronoun instead of lo or la. For example, someone might say le vi ayer instead of lo vi ayer, which is a standard in Latin America. While it may sound unusual, it is perfectly accepted in many parts of Spain, especially when referring to people. Fun fact: this linguistic feature has historical roots in Old Spanish and has stuck around in certain regions. But don't worry, Latin Americans simplify this by sticking with lo or la for direct objects. If you'd like to dive more deeper into leísmo, my colleague Dania has recently made a detailed video exploring it. Make sure to check it out. Lastly, let's look at vocabulary. The same word can mean different things depending on where you are. For example, pararse in Mexico means to stand up, but in Spain it means to stop. So, me voy a parar in Mexico would be I'm going to stand up, but in Spain it could mean the car stopped. El coche se paró. Another example is camión, which means bus in Mexico but refers to a truck in Spain. So might hear voy a tomar el camión in Mexico, Well, in Spain, el camión lleva mercancías. And don't forget the difference between ordenador and computadora. In Spain, you'd say el ordenador es muy rápido. While in Latin America, it's la computadora es muy rápida. Well, in conclusion, which one should you learn? The answer really depends on your goals. If you're looking at sheer numbers, there are far more Spanish speakers in Latin America than in Spain, which means learning Latin American Spanish might be more practical for interacting with the global Spanish-speaking community. Plus, if you have family in places like Mexico or Colombia, learning the Spanish specific to that region will help you connect with your loved ones more deeply and naturally. On the other hand, Spain has La Real Academia Española, the institution responsible for formalizing and regulating the Spanish language. If you're studying Spanish for academic purposes or planning to take a certification exam like DELE, you might benefit from being familiar with European Spanish conventions and nuances. However, let's not forget that the main purpose of any language is communication. Whether you choose to focus on Latin American Spanish or European Spanish, you'll be understood across the board. A Mexican can easily converse with a Spaniard, and a Colombian can chat with an Argentine without significant misunderstandings. There must be some fun moments of clarification, like realizing that ordenador means computadora, or that camión means something different in Spain versus Mexico. But overall, these are just enriching parts of the experience. So think about where you'll use your Spanish the most, what your personal or professional needs are, and let that guide your learning. And remember, no matter which variant you choose, you'll be opening doors to an entire world of culture, history, and connection. Both forms of Spanish are fully intelligible, making the choice less about right or wrong and more about what fits your journey best. If you're eager to learn more and want personalized lessons with a certified Spanish coach, visit Spanish55.com. And don't miss out on our new podcast, Conquering Spanish, where we share inspiring stories about our students' journeys. The link would be in the description below. Thanks for joining me today, and remember, Spanish isn't just a language. It's a vibrant, ever-evolving way of connecting. See you next time. Hasta la próxima!